Previously on All the Mods 10. In this episode of All the Mods 10. Hey, welcome and welcome back to All the Mods 10, episode 5. For today's episode, I really want to get started on at least planning out my lab build, and I want to get into some passive farming. Now, some of y'all might be wondering what I mean by passive farming. How can you farm something when you're not doing it? And that's the entire point of automation. I want to make it so that I never have to work on getting the resources, and the resources are always available to me to build my base. And the first step to doing that would be to clear out the area and, I guess, sanitize it so that I could occupy it. And thanks to some healthy generation, a lot of my digging work has been simplified by this being a nice open area. Now, the reason I grabbed myself this mega torch is because this mega torches block spawning for all mobs in a decent area around them. I forget what it is exactly, and that doesn't quite matter. But I just want there to be fewer mobs, and I also want to get rid of this water. Goodbye. Ouch. Gotta do something about that fall damage soon. And yeah, once I unload these areas, soon there'll be no more creepers, no more creepy crawlies, no more spiders. And talking out loud about the range for a mega torch, I did craft more because the mobs didn't exactly go away, and there's a lot of them in the caves. I remembered that pylons exists and that there's a quest for them. Here it is. And there is a potion filter, there's a player filter, and then there's a mob filter, and a lifeless filter, which needs a nether star. That can be something I want to work on, because it removes all natural spawns in a range of 25 by 25. And to make use of this, I need an interdiction pylon, which is just a block of netherite. So I think I'll get to crafting these, and I'll be back. So I'm just smelting me up some gold, and I did smelt up some more. I already do have some netherite blocks and some netherite scrap, and I think this should be, this is more than enough for a bunch. 19, and I just need the 9 to believe I have everything else required to make one of these bad boys. And I do indeed. Now, I can up these numbers in chunks and add mob filters to basically right-click mobs and put them in here, and then in the radius around me in chunks, nothing would spawn. But I'm after the big guns, and I want to get the, what's this called, the lifeless filter. And to do that, I have to get a nether star. And before I hurriedly go over to the nether, I figure I should check how many wither skulls do I have. And I have 5. Wouldn't you know, that is 2 more than I really need. And do I also have soul sand? I have soul stone. I guess I do have to go to nether. And this thing just gave me magma walker boots. And I will take these. These let me walk on magma while I'm shifted, I believe. Time to take a plunge and test them out. Ow. That was a fail. Is it while I'm sprinting? Yes. So while I sprint, I can actually run on magma. Or lava, sorry. That's actually useful. Because the only other feat equipable relics I've got have been roller skates, and those are awful. Those make me feel like I'm sliding around on ice, and so I guess for 26 seconds I can run around and not have lava damage me. We must stay focused. I came here for soul sand, which I have now, and even the quest knows what's up. I'm going to be summoning in the wither. And before I even go and try and fight the wither, I want to give myself an Aldemodium sword to get better odds. Because I think, yeah, this thing does 18 damage while my osmium sword did 8. So I'm going to bookmark one of these. I did get a second template thanks to the quest. And I do have enough of these to summon in the next one. Except I've just noticed that my levels leave a lot to be desired. And I don't think I'll be able to enchant quite anything with that much. So I'm looking through all of these books to see if I can even find anything that might have smite. I did get a fortune book from a Corel Tombstone gift bag, which was nice of it. I don't need unbreaking because of its experience. I don't need experience. Chance to absorb beneficial effects, I don't need that either. And so I'm thinking that it's just going to be a raw, unenchanted Aldemodium sword, which I'm not too mad about, but having an enchanted one would have been much cooler in my opinion. That's okay. We make do. I was considering doing this fight underground, but the underground happens to be full of the deep dark. And, I don't feel like messing around in the deep dark. So I'm going to make the tinted glass from mob grinding utils, which is wither resistant and blocks all incoming light. Except I'm out of coal. Or sorry, I'm out of glass. So small sand gathering. I don't really know how much of this tinted glass I need, so I'll make a couple stacks. I think I have the coal for it. I definitely have the coal for it. All thanks to the digital miner. And hey, all of this glass smelting up is also giving me a little bit of experience every time I'm pulling these out. So, at least that's nice. So I want to do this in the mining dimension instead of underground, simply because if something goes wrong, I wouldn't want the stuff around me to get destroyed. And basically, I'm going to build a 3x3 box that's about 5 tall on the inside, and I'll be right back. Could I use a building gadget for this? Sure. Did I think about it and have one in my backpack? I actually do. What the hell? I never expected that to be the case. I'm not known to be the guy with foresight, but here we are. Oh, okay, that's the literal opposite. But hey, I'll take the little bits of convenience that I can get. And an entrance gets built. Well, I can't quite do that, but just like that. And now to put a top on it, just so the little guy doesn't get out. If I can even place these correctly. Another good thing about this is you don't need silk touch. And yeah, that is going to be my wither box. I've gone ahead and changed the direction of my entrance because in case the wither fires out any projectiles, I want them to go this way instead of the way of my mining, the digital miner. And now to spawn in this guy. Wait, where's... I could have sworn I had 3 skulls on me. Is it in my backpack? Okay, I've got to go back and check what happened to the skull. So I just checked back the recordings and I did have the skull on me when I was pulling out the mining gadget, the building gadget, sorry, from my backpack. But, well, I didn't have it, so it's not that big a deal. I'll just go right on back, grab an extra one. And now we can spawn in this guy. And hopefully this is more painless than me having to get in to this box. And I'm just gonna... Oh hey, and magically, I now have an extra skull in my bag. I'm gonna back away because this is probably gonna be loud. And I think I'll also turn down the recording volume. And yeah, just like that, even though he does damage around him, because he's completely sealed in, I don't think he can get out. And I do have vampiric gloves, so even though I'm withered and taking damage, because I'm also doing damage, I don't actually lose any health. And the Infinity Ham I did also get an upgrade for. It now has a significant amount of regeneration, 2.6 units. And so, yeah, that was rather painless. I wouldn't mind doing that multiple times. Which I am instantly going to use to make one of these. Hey, I'm out of glass again. You're telling me I can't use the tinted glass to make this? Does it have to be glass blocks? Okay, well maybe it's just this thing being a little goofy. What's it need? Green dye? Well, I guess I'll collect these and be back. And just like that, I now have myself one of these. I will also go ahead and claim all of these quests, which give me a bunch of XP, ancient debris, another nether star, a solar panel, and more wither skulls. So I can kill the wither again, hooray! And I feel like the only place this fits in is right here. And does this mean that now nothing spawns in a 25 by 25 area? I guess we'll find out. Now, I guess this is an excellent time to talk about my plans for the build here. And now that I think about it, talking out loud, this is a horrible place for it because I expect this to move. But I expect a walkway, or I imagine a walkway coming out into a central room or a central pedestal elevated stage area right here, and a sunken in lab that goes all the way around and that has tunnels that go in every single direction. And I think that the build deserves a quick little time lapse. See you on the other side. Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed that time lapse, because it took a couple hours. It's about 5 hours later in real life, and all of that work was for this big reveal right here. So, again, this is the big pedestal I was talking about. It's 5 blocks off the ground. It's 9 blocks between these pillars, and it's 5 blocks tall out here. And I had to take off some of the pillars. We probably saw that in the time lapse. And yeah, this is probably going to be the floor level. I'm going to have staircases that lead up on both sides. And yeah, I'm kind of proud of how this is coming along. I think, however, I'm going to take a break from building for the time being and focus on getting more passive farms up. Because remember, now that this area is passive, it's time to make the farms passive too. Remember the keyword, guys. The keyword is passive. Well, my axe was nearly dead, so I gave myself an Ultimatium axe. And that was because I wanted to come down here and chop off this temporary tree farm that I had constructed. Because I kept running out of wood while trying to make frame drawers. Frame drawers? I mean frame blocks. And yeah, that build took a lot of them. And it's going to take many, many more. But I'm done with this wood setup for now, and I do need access to the farm. So, away this goes, and something new is going to replace it soon. And I figured I'd give you all an update on this. I've been building for so long that it's almost halfway done. It's at 66,000, it's at 30,000. And This barrel is looking rather healthy. I did put a stack upgrade and I took the white upgrade out because, well, yeah, the white upgrade doesn't work like it does in the drawers, and I thought it did, but yeah, I took it out. And you might notice that this is getting ancient debris when this looks like it's an overworld dimension. And something I forgot to mention in the previous episode was the fact that even though this is the mining dimension, this guy actually goes way down to stone and then deep slate levels. And then once you go low enough, you end up in the nether. And then if you keep going lower, you end up in the end. And each section has its corresponding ores. And I'm fairly confident that you can find aldemodium in here too. In fact, it's taken me so long that I have 13.7 thousand inferium, or blocks of inferium, sorry, stored up in here. And that's going to be rather helpful because I want to get into mystical agriculture. Now, mystical agriculture happens to be one of the mods in here that lets you passively generate resources. The other one being bees, resourceful bees. Except I'm choosing to go down the mystical agriculture route at the moment because, well, I have a farm set up for it, and I would much rather have the beehives automated with applied energistics. Now, this is what's going to help me get into applied energistics. So you put down your pedestal, you put your redstone block underneath it because this thing doesn't work without redstone power, and then basically you color within the lines. And now the infusion altar is complete. You know, now that I think about it, the simplest way to explain mystical agriculture would be to work through the quest itself. And I'm actually just going to slowly do all of these quests to explain along the way my thinking and my process. And a little over a stack of seeds later, I wish to make the prosperity seed bases. Now, it's basically a seed that's surrounded by prosperity, and I was only able to make 26. That's because I ran out of prosperity. However, I have much more in here. And now, to make the redstone seeds, I need something called tertium, and to make the fluix seeds, I need something called imperium. Now, the essences from mystical agriculture follow this pattern of inferium to prudentium to tertium to imperium to supremium and zenium, and to make each tier you need 4 of the previous tier. So 4 of these makes 1 of these, and then 4 of the prudentiums makes 1 tertium, and so on and so forth. Now, to craft them up, you use something called the infusion crystals, one of which I did get as a quest reward. And as it suggests, I have 500 uses left to craft up a bunch of these into prudentium. Now, having exhausted my inferium supply, I will craft this up into tertium. And then into imperium, assuming I can do it in a stack, and then up to supremium. The reason I'm doing all of this is to be able to craft up this master infusion crystal. And again, this one, as it suggests, has infinite uses, unlimited even. And all it takes is 6 supremium to craft one of these bad boys. And I'm slowly getting up there. And as you can see, this keeps getting paler and paler till it completely runs out. Now, I can just make another of those basic infusion crystals. And I guess this will be the last time I'll need one of these. And I'll be back when I can make one of these. I should be able to go craft myself. What do you mean I don't have prosperity in there? It's doing the thing again where it doesn't recognize the fact that I have put in a bunch of stuff. And now it sees it. Anyways, I'll just craft these up by hand. And again, it didn't pull out these 2 which I had in my inventory, it just ate them. But hey, I now have the Master Infusion Crystal. Quest completed. And to show you what that looks like in the book, I have gone through and basically gone down this entire line all the way here. and I'll get to the creative and insanium coal blocks in a second, or maybe later actually. But for now, I wish to automate the simple ones like redstone and fluix. Now, I wouldn't normally put this in a video, but I experienced a crash right after crafting up some prudentium for the redstone seed, and I wasn't able to find a master infusion crystal, so I was looking around and I searched it up in my system, and it was gone. So I'll cut back to when this thing loads back in, which I guess is right now. Immaculate timing I'm having. Now, there's... Okay, the prudentium is all in my inventory. The tertium, sorry, not the prudentium. I was crafting from prudentium to tertium. Oh, I had two of these. Alright, so now I should have all of the resources needed to make a redstone seed and a fluix seed. And so to use the infusion altar, you put your seed base in the middle, you put 4 of the resources, and not the seed bases, you put 4 of the essences of that tier, and as long as that thing has a redstone signal, it'll craft up into the seed of your choosing. And I'll do that once again because I wanted 2 of these. Did I put one too many of these guys? I think I did. And that's 2 redstone seeds. And I'll repeat this for the fluix. Et voila! Now I have 2 redstone seeds and 2 fluix seeds, which I will go plant in an area that gets maximum coverage. So not one of these where I only have 3. I want one that has 4. So I'll put one here, and I'll put one here, and I'll put 2 of the fluix ones, one here, and one here. And I'll also go ahead and grab these. It's kind of hard to fall down this hole because of all the ledges. But I think I got everything. And now, I'm already getting fluix essence and redstone essence. And thus, passive farming. Now, unfortunately, the compacting upgrade only packs down 2x2 and 3x3 recipes, so it can't quite make fluix and redstone down into their resource counterparts. However, it's easy enough for me to come in and just grab these, plus a diamond stock tier upgrade 4. That was word salad. Stack upgrade tier 4 means there's going to be 1,000 per stack, so I'm not too worried about these overfilling anytime soon. And now that those essences have been crafted up, I would like to get into some applied energistics. Applied energistics, as I've alluded to in the past, is a storage mod that adds a bunch of tech and auto crafting and automation opportunities to the game, and without one of these storage mods, it is rather difficult to play a game at this scale. Now, Applied Energistics has multiple tricks up its sleeve, but let's start with the basics. And of course, as always, the quests happen to be the best place to look for instructions when tackling a mod like this. This is what we're faced with. So far I've made nothing. I made a chest, and then I got a charger. Next it wants me to make an inscriber, which I will bookmark. And it also wishes me to make a nether quartz or Certus quartz wrench, which I will put in my bookmarks. And then a meteorite compass, which I will put in my bookmarks, and I will do that for a bunch of these, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm gonna try to get through these pretty fast. So I need 2 pistons to make myself an inscriber, which actually I want multiple of, and given that I have 4 presses, I want 4 inscribers to make pressing related crafting recipes, and I want 1 to make the circuits, so I have 5. Check. Now, a Certus quartz wrench. I do not have enough Certus quartz, which, you know, happens to be a lie. I have 8,000 Certus quartz. So we make the wrench. That's another one off the list. The meteorite compass is a compass in a charger. Do I have a compass? I must have found one in a village or while exploring. I'll whack it in, right click it in. Takes a second, and it ends up as a meteorite compass. And this essentially points to the nearest meteorite, but the UI is broken. You can see that in my hotbar right here, it is pointing in a sort of northwesterly direction, north by northwest, and on my person, in my hand, no such luck. Maybe it's a shaders thing. Toggling my shaders, and yeah, it was a shaders thing. Kind. And we're back. Cool. Meteorite compass. Check. Energy acceptor needs quartz glass, which needs certain quartz dust. Alright, I think I have enough. Just put it in a crusher real quick. That's 4 glass, and I have an energy acceptor. That's another one off the list. An energy cell, which needs 4 fluix dust, and another quartz glass. Should be able to do this, and then a fluix dust is just one of these. I was going to talk about the alternative recipe, which, if I check out the uses for this guy, it's 3 fluix essence for 3 fluix dust. And I did end up making myself the energy cell, but I forgot to record that. Anyways, we are now up to the processors, which go in an inscriber. And now the inscribers that I made earlier, along with the presses that I collected from the meteors, come in really handy. So I'll just grab, I need one of each, but I'm grabbing onto 2 somehow, which I will set up on this back wall here. So now the inscribers take power from any side, I imagine, because any side but the front, because I see all these purple circles, which I imagine are the connectors. I'll put all of these here, put the cables down to connect up all of these. I just box myself in. Excellent. And whack this with a pipe wrench. And connect all of these up, just like so. And now all of these should be device online, except I just want to turn facing north on this guy to be extract. And now all of these should be device online because they all receive power. So to get started with inscribing, I'm going to put each one of these presses into one of the inscribers and then grab the materials they need. Now, each press can be replicated or copied by using a block of iron, but for example, the logic press wants gold, so I'll give it a piece of gold, and it'll go through the process. The silicon press wants silicon, which you get by smelting certain scorched dust. And now that I have a stack of each of these, I can input a stack at a time, which was not the case in the past, and these will just do their thing and craft up one at a time and keep crafting them. Now, to make these circuits, you basically combine your logic circuits with redstone and printed silicon to make a logic processor. You get the Certus Quartz guide, the calculation circuit, with the same setup to get the calculation processor, and you do the same with the diamond to get the engineering processor. So I already have one of those. I'll grab one of these. I can't grab them one at a time, but I might as well just take all of them then. So now this setup is somewhat consistent. I put one of these in, get in one of these, that's that. And then I put in one of these. And lastly, I believe I missed out on this guy, and that's this one. Now the first thing I like to do with my newfound circuits is to make myself some acceleration cards, because if I'm making some machines to make everything else, I would like these machines to be as fast as possible. So this guy gets a couple, and then I'll just distribute these, a couple in here. Actually, I'll put 3 in here because the silicon is a common ingredient, and then I'll put one of these in each of these inscribers. And now this is going ever so slightly faster, and hopefully my power is able to keep up. So next up on my to-do list is now the ME crafting terminal. And to make one of these bad boys, you need to make a terminal, which then needs the formation core and if memory serves me right, an annihilation core, which needs a logic processor. 2 logic processors later, we get to make the annihilation core. And I'm missing an illuminated panel. Okay. Sure. And now that is the ME terminal, which is then used to make the crafting terminal. Now that that is checked off, the brains of the entire operation is the controller. And now the controller is a large multi-block, but for the time being, I'm going to keep it simple and just make one controller just to get the quest. And with that little bit of skystone, here's the controller. I expected the controller to give me a quest, but it turns out the last time I made the cables to make the growth accelerators didn't actually count towards my quest. So here we go again. I'm gonna click Q for uses and make myself some fluid cables. And there's the quest complete. Now let's see what's left. This check mark is left, whatever. That's explaining channels, which I will get to later. And the storage. Sure, you know what? I'll do it. And I think I actually have everything I need to make one of these. Bam. And now, after all of this effort, it's time to kiss my old storage goodbye. I get to craft my first storage components, for which I did just grab a stack of Cirrus quartz, and I'm missing logic processors. Are you sure about that? I have them in my inventory. There we go. I made 7 of them. And now these can be made into a 1K storage cell using a cell housing. So I downcraft some of the redstone, grab some of this dust, make myself some glass. Bam. Actually, I should be able to make more. I want a lot of these. 8. That's good enough. And now, each one of these can hold 1024 bytes and 63 types. But unfortunately, that is all I have time for episode 5. So to watch me set up this entire digital storage system, you, my friend, are gonna have to wait for episode 6. Up until then, this has been Kesa in ATM10.